So yeah, I'm still doing the n57 rebuild. Yeah, I know it's been a year or so. I just really couldn't, I just didn't have the motivation through the winter months. And then, like, another thing that's pissing me off is I'd be printing off little bits of the ISTA guidance, you know, with the torque specs and things like that, and I have them on pieces of paper, and pieces of paper would get screwed up, lost, and say you're bolting up the cylinder head or the cam carrier with its 20 bolts, and you have to do it in the right order. And looking back at this piece of paper, anyway, I had a light bulb moment to add a garage computer, which is what I've got here. Try and zoom out a bit. So it's one of the Lenovo Tinies on a sort of gas strut arm. So these things, they come with a bracket for mounting to the back of the screen, but unfortunately the mounts are used here. So I've just these VESA mounts, they come with little extension pieces for I think these are like the 75mm, but they come with extension pieces for 100mm. So I've basically welded a couple of those there to this carrier, so the computer goes in there and the PSU is just on the side. They do actually do a slot on PSU housing, but I've not seen those in a long time. I buy loads of these Intel AMD ones, but this is a crappy Intel one with a fucking massive power supply because it's so inefficient. 11th gen Core i5. Anyway, so game changer. Well, you've got little things like your order history, which I'm gonna talk about in a minute, because there's something that's just pissed me off a little bit. But what is great is, obviously I've got ISTA, so it's all here, isn't it? Like, you know, like crankshaft and camshaft, replacing both timing chains. You know, it's all here. It's beautiful. You can pinch to zoom on the pictures. Obviously, scroll down. You're tightening torques and stuff like that. Got music. Yeah, not using my phone anymore. It's all just here permanently. This is an absolute game changer. I can pull this out, you know, a bit, and I can zoom in on. Let's say I'm looking at the buttoning down sequence for something. Well, there isn't one there, is there? But say like I'm looking at cylinder head. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I know it's start in the middle and work outwards, but it's much easier to not lose track when you got it like that. And obviously I can just zoom right in on that, and I can kind of see it from where I am. I mean, I've done this, I'm past this stage now, but it's a bit far away. I could always roll the engine closer, couldn't I? So this is a game changer, really. I actually feel, because before, if I was unsure of anything, I'm either on my phone, Googling, or I'm running back into the house to the computer, and I'm printing stuff off, and it was just demotivating, really. I know I could use a laptop. I'm swimming in laptops, but they're all far too beautiful to bring in the garage. This is much better. I have a setup like this at one of my customers, a napkin factory. These same screens, portrait on the same arm, with Raspberry Pis, so compute modules, like running some bespoke software. So yeah, I'm pleased with this. It's good, game changer. But also things like your order history, and I'll tell you why this is relevant. So I've just come to change the water pump. Now, unfortunately, I bought these parts. I bought everything in September 2024. Right, I bought the wrong timing chain kit, and I had to go back and buy another one because one of the chains and sprockets is slightly different. The fuel, high pressure fuel pump sprocket is different. And one of the chains is like 81 instead of 79 or something. But anyway, I've just come to do the water pump, just because, you know, there's nothing wrong with the water pump, but you do it while you're in there, don't you? So in case of fail, especially these with plastic impellers, right? BMW original. Here's my order from Autodoc from September. There's my water pump. Wait a minute. Right. Alright, yes, it's redox, but it's just a freaking water pump. There's not much to it, is there? It's a casting. Alright. Water pump, impeller material, sheet steel. That's why I chose that one. Here's a new water pump. I'm sorry, but that is not sheet steel. Like, it's fucking plastic. Right, I may as well keep the bloody BMW original plastic one on. I'm pissed off about that really now. Not only that, it's such a freaking hassle getting this gasket in because there's no recess on the block. It's machined smooth. It'll be okay. I had the engine that way a minute ago. I've just put it this way up, so hopefully this will just about rest in here. I don't know. But yeah, fucking miffed about that. It's obviously too long to send it back. Like, I am not wrong about that. That is plastic. Alright, it's glass reinforced plastic. Looks decent, you know, that's why BMW use them as well. Like, yeah, they're a different type of sort of GRP, but this is, I guess, more shiny, but well, you can see the mould lines there, can't you? That is plastic. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, nice thing about having this is I could quickly go back and check that, but water pump impeller material sheet steel. The impeller is this side. We're not talking the drive side, are we? Yeah, fucking miffed about that now. So I guess next time I have to check everything as soon as it comes. I couldn't have checked the timing chain stuff because I didn't have the engine in pieces. I should have waited until I'd stripped everything out, shouldn't I? Anyway, yeah, okay. So this was all going great, and it still is going great, but I'm just miffed about that. Alright, cheers. Engine is getting there anyway. It's all buttoned up, it's all timed. What have we done? A new oil pump, decent one, Peerberg. That's expensive, that's like nearly £400. Tandem pump they call it, because it does the, it's a vacuum pump, I guess, for the brake booster and stuff as well. I broke one glow plug when I had the cylinder head on the thing. I just sort of bent the end of it a little bit, and I tell you what, I would not want to try and take one of those out while the engine was in situ. Well, basically half of it came out and half of it didn't. I had to like tap it out from the other side. So what do you do if the engine's in situ? I'm never trying to take a glow plug out of one of these engines while it's in situ, because it looks like you have to pull the heads off if it goes wrong. New gaskets everywhere, obviously. It's had a good clean out of lots of things. Intake manifolds had a very good clean out. I've not removed the swirl flaps. I know about, you know, people doing that. There's a tiny wobble there, but we are right on the end. But I mean, they do increase low end response and stuff, don't they? I've got new gaskets for the intake manifold, of course. So yeah, I'm just plodding on. At the moment, I've got a new gasket for the. I think this is the oil filter housing cooler or something. I can't remember, but I have a new gasket for that. Does that go in here? Yeah, that goes in. This is the oil filter housing. That goes in here or something. I can't remember. CCV hose is destroyed, so I'll be needing to buy one of those. Yeah, I don't know about whether I should try and decoat the turbos a little bit, some Mr. Muscle or something, I'm not sure. Don't know. Loads of spare pistons and rods and stuff. I bought some spares off eBay just in case ours were bad, and they were worse in other ways. Like, I thought they were good because I could see they still had shells in them which hadn't spun. I thought, oh, that's handy. Well, it turned out some of them obviously had a snap timing chain instead, because they all had well, first of all, they had imprints on on the top of valve imprints on them anyway. Can't remember which ones we're looking at here. And also, whoever pulled them out of their engine had obviously just smacked them onto the concrete, because a lot of them had like chips in the corners, like that. Like, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I feel I've lost money on a few things here. The eBay extras, fucking lost money. Dickhead sellers selling shite. That pissed me off. Lost money on a timing chain kit, which I can sell because it's brand new. Whether somebody will buy a Redox timing chain kit, some people like to badmouth them, don't they? But it's fine, it's brand new. So I'll try and sell that. It's a full kit. But it's for the one that needs a 79 long chain instead of an 81 or whatever it is. 80 instead of 82 or whatever it is. It's a shorter chain. That's my original oil pump. Thankfully, when I took a load of the bolts off, because we are talking a year ago, I put them in bags saying what they were. That proved to be very helpful. I forgot I'd done that, and I came to these bags, and that did make life a lot easier. Timing cover, oil pump, sump ×3, bottom plate, etc. So that was nice. Yeah, I've got one little small piece of harness that when I took the engine out of the car, maybe when I separated it from the gearbox, I don't know, I had no idea where it would come from. So yeah, we'll see. I'll be coming to that at some point. But yeah, there's just one mini harness that hopefully I'll be able to do like a Google reverse image search or something. Don't know where it is. Fuel rails, etc. Yeah, it was like a light grey one. It almost looked like an oxygen. How did it? I don't know. You know, like a. No, I was going to say like a lambda sensor connector or something, but I don't know. But it was light grey, whereas most of the other harnesses are sort of black, really. And I think the connectors were grey, and the plastic, this stuff, great, nice. It was grey, so I'm a bit lost with that. I don't know where that goes, but hopefully I'll figure it out. Yeah. Just getting over this horrendous lung thing that's going around at the moment. Doctor's giving me some steroids. Feeling a bit perky, which is nice. Yeah, my main thing is going to be... cleanliness has been a right pain in the arse, and I know how important it is, but you can see the state of the place, and I clean that off each time, but any time I go near anything, it's getting dust or dirt on it almost immediately, you know, but yeah, you know, I've managed to keep it clean, and I'm conscious of using brake clean too much, because you just get instant flash rust in, and drying out bearings and all sorts of stuff, you know. So, but yeah, it's had a good strip down. Yeah, it's okay. Just hope it's going to be okay. My mate, I'm very conscious of the initial starting procedure. Priming it, not letting it run until it's got real good oil circulation. Obviously, I've used assembly lube everywhere. I've been squirting engine oil from a little squirter everywhere as well. But when it comes to starting it, I know BMW's procedure for priming, I think, is simply to not allow fuel. So it's full compression still, but you disable the fuel pump or something. I've got the document on it. And obviously I'd probably prefer to just remove injectors if I can. It's just, what can you get to though? As I said before, pulling glow plugs is a freaking no. I'm not risking that. But if, when the engine's in place, I can pull or just loosen the injectors. It used to say the diesel injectors were a nightmare, didn't they? But these came out like by hand. I do have on my M6 is direct injection petrol, so they're equally hard to get out. But I've got the tool for them and sort of did all right with that, really. That tool might fit this as well, who knows? But yeah, if when it's in situ, I can. Injectors aren't in right now, as you can see. But if when it's in situ, I can remove or loosen the injectors, as well as unplugging them, of course. Don't want fuel everywhere, so that there's no compression, and just crank it over enough times to build oil pressure. I think I'd be happy with that. Anyway, think about that. That's key for me, though. That I've seen the horror stories of people doing rod bearings preventatively, even, and then they spin a bearing. They had a good car, preventatively did the rod bearings, and then they've spun within 1,000 miles. And I think it can only be that initial start or break-in. I don't know. It does worry me though. So that's why I've taken so long over it. Anything I wasn't dead sure about, say the roundness of the big ends here. If I had any doubt, because these are so the bearings were so shredded. Let me show you again. I mean, that's got some thickness to it at least, but it's got worse than that. 1 second. What we've got here is just injectors in those shells, but they're obviously numbered for the cylinder that they were in. I mean, you know, like look at they're in a real bad way, and there was that much knocking, and I mean you can see it in my past videos. There was that much rod knock that I was worried that we may have elongated here, and also with the bearings spun and scraping away at some of this. They all actually measured up bang on. I ended up having to use the transfer gauges in the end. I think that's what you call them. So you measure the closing on a spring, you loosen, you pop out, you lock, and then you measure this with the outside micrometer. Now I did buy a lovely dial bore gauge. Unfortunately, every single one is right on the turning point of that size. So you can't get it in. Well, you can, but you've not got any movement at all. So you just actually scratch the scratching here. They just don't make one that fits in there nicely. I'm waffling a bit, aren't I? Yeah. About being dead sure about things. Anything I wasn't dead sure about. So equally, the gudgeon pin here. I had my pistons, and I could sense they were dry though, right? But I could sense they could rock like that. That's sliding side to side that you can hear there, but they were rocking like that a little bit. And I probably spent months researching whether that was okay, was that a problem, as the rod knot caused that, are these pistons good to use, are they not? I just don't want to finish this job and have overlooked something like that. Anyway, it turned out it's just they were dry, because I compared to some other ones that were just come out of the parts washer that had got some Geyser in it, which is slightly oily. And they were silent, so that was that. But there's been lots of things where I've just needed to be dead sure, because I'd be pretty disappointed if it's not a success, obviously. Just as a reminder, I've had the crank ground. 0.5 under on the rod journals, so 2 steps down. We used Coleman Schmidt shells, which I might have thrown in the box away now. It's been hovering around here for a long time. Yeah, it's gone now. Started to tidy up, sort of, a little bit. And then, although the mains were okay, just a slight bit of wear, but they were fine really. We did those as well, so we did those 0.25 under. I just hope the guy's done a perfect job and that there was no other impact on the crank, warpage, anything like that. I'm sure he would have noticed that when he machined it. The guy's got a good reputation, Jason. I can't remember his surname, but he's well known. Arrow crankshafts and things like that. He's got a good reputation. So yeah. Alright, that's what I'm up to. Just going to try and get that plastic impelled pump on here. Looks like a right pain in the arse because of the way the gasket just wants to drop off. I don't want to use any contact adhesive because I don't know the impact on the gasket. I think this gasket is supposed to squash out, so hopefully I can do it. And obviously I want the gasket to be in right. I won't be able to, if I get it wrong, I might not be able to tell. And it's not going to seal right, is it? Alright, cheers, wish me luck, thanks.